Okay, well, let's move through to Modi and Israel, since everything that Israel does at the moment appears to be either war or helping the rules-based international order come into being.
It's certainly the centre of attention this week for conflict, last week for a extraordinary state visit, actually. So we're going to talk about Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, who touched down in Tel Aviv for a state visit to Israel. This is important geopolitical context for the conflict that's kicked off just 2 days after the visit ended. But also we're going to look at how India sits at the centre of the transformation of global governance and economic activity, and Israel is a key partner within this. So you saw him there getting a big handshake, big hug from Netanyahu, inspecting troops. He was actually the first Indian leader to speak before the Knesset as well. And we're going to have a listen to a few of the remarks that he made to the Israeli parliament.
Honourable members, it is a privilege and an honour for me to stand before this distinguished House. I do so as the Prime Minister of India and also as a representative of one ancient civilization addressing another. I bring with me the greetings of 1.4 billion Indians and a message of friendship, respect, and partnership. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your kind invitation and for your wonderful gesture of lighting up the Knesset in Indian colors.
Two ancient civilizations talking to each other.
And lights which would appear to be a global warming problem to me, but there we are.
Yes, quite remarkable. I mean, essentially, if you think about the context of this, everything's been going on in Gaza over the past 2+ years, and then Modi flies in and essentially says, we are here with you together as partners, and not just myself, I'm also bringing 1.4 billion Indians with me and delivering a message of respect and partnership. Right. He then went on to talk about the October 7th attacks. Let's have a listen to this next clip.
Honourable members, I also carry with me the deepest condolences of the people of India for every life lost and for every family whose world was shattered in the barbaric terrorist attack by Hamas on October 7. We feel your pain. We share your grief. India stands with Israel firmly, with full conviction in this moment and beyond.
That was a momentous event.
Yes.
Which has largely gone unnoticed, apart from your good self bringing this forward for UK column viewers.
Yeah, he's kind of gone by the sidelines. But I mean, this is, and certainly this is a big win for Netanyahu. You can see him sitting there, you know, looking very pleased with himself. Let's bring him up on screen. There he is. So Netanyahu's there. You've got Ben Gvir on the right-hand side, who has been personally evicting Palestinians in the West Bank over the past few days. I've seen video clips of that. You've got Bezalel Smotrich, who last year said no one in the world would allow us to starve 2 million people, even though it might be justified and moral. And then Modi's essentially come in and validated all of this. He's validated the official narrative around October 7th attacks, which was all Hamas. There's nothing else to understand about it. And then unequivocally and completely given Israel India's backing for any past, current and future actions. That's what we're looking at here. Astonishing. He also went on to reveal that he was born on the same day that India recognised the Israeli state, on 17th of September 1950. He talks about a number of Jewish tribes that exist in India, establishing this kinship between the two countries, and then delivered this extraordinary quote, which is that Israel is the fatherland and India is the motherland.
Yeah, there's something offensive about that statement, just in the language, never mind what the meaning is.
Well, quite, yeah. I mean, one can only imagine
Israel, the fatherland.
Yeah. Wonder what the conjugal situations are like back home. Anyway, and essentially what this is doing is reinforcing, and this was a screenshot from an AIPAC speech that Netanyahu delivered back in 2018, where he was talking about turning the map blue, and obviously India, part of that global empire, that blue empire, and this just reinforces that, essentially.
But of course, the key area there in red, if we just put that one back on screen, is where we need the trouble and the regime change in order to ensure that an even bigger and directly relevant piece of the land map goes blue.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to watch this unfold.
Isn't it just? So there was 17 minutes of that, 17 minutes of respect and pleasantries before they ultimately ended up getting down to business. Let's hear what they wanted to talk about.
For the last few years, India has been the fastest growing major economy in the world. Soon, we will be among the top 3 economies globally. At the same time, Israel is a powerhouse of innovation and technological leadership. This creates a natural foundation for our forward-looking partnership.
1.4 billion people, world's fastest growing major economy, going to be one of the top 3 economies on earth, running on technological infrastructure given to them at a price from Israel. Now, that's what this partnership amounts to. They talked about the inspiration that Modi himself and other Indians took from the kibbutz movement, so the settlement of Israel through the 20th century and still up to the current day. But then, and particularly as it relates to agriculture, but then they're talking about expanding this across every other sector of the economy. So right. Israeli technology, Israeli operational standards pushed down into 1.4 billion people by a compliant political class headed up by Narendra Modi. Essentially, he's offering this up to Netanyahu.
Lots of questions to be asked.
And now, yeah, absolutely. And then let's just have a quick listen to one of the key assets that the Indians have built that Modi was very keen to talk about.
Last week, we hosted the world's largest and the most democratized AI Impact Summit with representatives from over 100 countries. Our aspirational spirit aligns naturally with Israel's innovation ecosystem. I see a lot of synergies in areas such as quantum technologies, semiconductors, and artificial intelligence. We are also working with Israel on creating cross-border financial linkages using our digital public infrastructure.
So this is the digitization of the economic, political, cultural systems, not just in India, but internationally. And Modi's convened summit, which took place the week before last, which was attended by 100 countries and essentially becomes the epicenter of artificial intelligence, governance, innovation globally.
And intelligence services, actually, we could put on top of that, Ben.
Yeah, certainly. So what was that all about? This is casting back. So those are some clips from the speech to Knesset. You should go and watch that yourself. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. This is the AI Impact Summit delivered last week. Very exciting. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people, all the big tech CEOs, and this is basically AI everything: healthcare, government, pharmaceuticals, education, you name it. Apparently, it was a bit of a car crash on the ground, so there were some reports that it was poorly managed, venues spread across the city, total deadlock in traffic, conflicting information being given to delegates and security about who was supposed to be able to access what. Bill Gates had to pull out because of the Epstein files. But still, people were there, and our esteemed former unelected Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was beating the drum for artificial intelligence on behalf of the British people, essentially. This is kind of unelected statesman type role that he's given himself. You can see him here talking at a Tony Blair Institute event to the chief AI officer for Meta, a guy called Alexander Wang, who was 29 years old. A 29-year-old who's dictating artificial intelligence policy. And this is obviously a continuation of Sunak's involvement in this space, because he was the first person to convene an AI summit at Bletchley Park at the end of 2023, which we spoke about a lot at the time. And he's now currently shilling for this technology in the Times and various other places, and at the same time on a retainer working for Goldman Sachs, Microsoft and Anthropic, the second two of which are both artificial intelligence companies. So he's probably doing quite nicely out of this. This is in a long line of India's involvement in this space with this technology, with this new paradigm that we're being ushered towards. We spoke back in September about Nesta Policy Live, where they had this chap, Pramod Varma, building for billions, 1.4 billion, in fact, individuals who have now been ushered onto this technology platform in India. Just a month after that, Starmer was there on a trade mission saying that we're going to a country, India, where they've already done ID and they've made a massive success out of it. And actually, he was on his way when that statement was made to a meeting with the chairman of this company, which is Infosys. Chairman is this guy, Nandan Nilekani. It's an old picture from 2007, but you can see him there speaking at the World Economic Forum. He was actually on the World Economic Forum Board of Trustees. And in 2024, he issued a joint white paper with the general manager of the Bank of International Settlements called Finternet, which essentially is creating a new type of internet predicated on financial transactions, this digital payment infrastructure, CBDCs, which is the primary control mechanism for this new global order that we're being marched towards at the moment. Infosys, interestingly, was founded by this guy, Narendra Modi, who's now on the board of the UN Foundation, still an emeritus role at Infosys. And his daughter, Akshata Murthy, happens to be married to Rishi Sunak.
Just a coincidence.
Absolutely.
Just a coincidence.
Yes, indeed, yes. Infosys also, just a couple of final points on this. Infosys is a strategic partner of the World Economic Forum. It also works closely with Common Purpose. So the head of design at the Infosys Leadership Institute has said Common Purpose is a crucible for a set of very powerful ideas. And we know that India was a big target for Cameron et al. When they were pushing into their next phase. Once they'd done the UK and they were moving internationally, India was absolutely on that list. And just as a final point, Akshata Murthy, Rishi Sunak's wife, was at one point a co-director of a health company which took £630,000 out of the furlough scheme during COVID before going bust. And one of her co-directors was this guy, Mr. Rupert Lowe, interestingly enough.
Just a coincidence.